Hi everyone, I'm the plant propagator and welcome to my channel. Today I want to do something a little bit different. I want to give you a tour of my garden right here. I want to show you some of the plants that I propagated in the garden, and I want to show you some of the plants that I'm planning on propagating. And what a propagator does is it makes copies either through cuttings or seeds or a number of different sources of various types of plants. So first of all, I don't know if you can tell, I have lots of palms in my yard, and the palms provide shade for most of my orchids. I'll be concentrating in my tour and in my garden on orchids because that's the main thing that I like to grow. But I'm going to show you other plants as well. So let's go. Let's start. Okay, so as we go through here, I guess I should first show you my pergola. And this is my pergola that contains a lot of my orchids. This pergola is covered with aluminate shade cloth, and this blocks out about 50% of the sun. This is made to block out 50% of the sun, which is good for cattleyas. So I have mostly cattleyas and some other plants in here too. I'm ready to fill this guy up. The pergola is pretty new, so I'm ready to go. So let's go, let's take a look at some things. First of all, I wanted to show you, let's start over here. I want to show you this desert rose right here. And this desert rose is at the corner of this garden area, and it's nice. It's not blooming right now, but it has a nice double bloom on it. And when we had the pool put in, this got covered with about 2 feet of soil. So I had to dig it out, and when I dug it out, or either that or when the soil was dumped on it, it cracked a piece off, and that cracked piece is now right here. So this is a question of a piece got cracked off, I let it dry out a couple of days, and then I put it in soil, and it's a very easy way to propagate and grow another plant. This is a periwinkle right here. It's a mini periwinkle, and I grew this from cuttings from this plant right here. So I'll show you in another video later how you can take cuttings. This is a little mini periwinkle here, and I've got another one right over here. But I'll show you how to take cuttings, and I'll show you how to grow these guys from seed. As we look through the garden and in this area, these are the tropical sage that are getting kind of too big for the pots that I've got them in. So they're going to have to be transplanted out pretty soon. And then we have my orchids, and then we have a lot of the orchids shown right here. I do want to point out this one orchid right here. There's a flower right here, and as we move over here, there's another flower right here. And this is a 6 foot wide or 5 foot wide dendrobium, but as you can see, it's pretty vigorous. The roots are growing pretty well, but it's in a small pot. And I actually had to wire this down because it got so big and it was falling off. And I also want to show you right here, here's a keiki. So it's a little plant that has some really nice roots that we're going to, in a future video, I'm going to show you how to pull this off and mount it in a tree. Through the rest of my garden, what I have, there's some impatient cuttings that I showed you how to make about a week ago. There's some more butterfly orchid and Cyclia tampensis right here. There's a lot of different orchids. Here's an orchid that I have a lot of. This is Lorian Paradise itself. So this is from a seed pod that I collected and germinated a lot of seed. So a lot of plants. There's another pot of that. So I've got a lot of plants from that. You know, in my garden, I don't have that many blooming orchids. But here's a nice cattleya that's blooming I have to look up the name of it. Well, I can see the name of it right here. This is Emerald Isle Paradise, I think. I'll check the name. But this is a really nice orchid that I'll probably make some crosses with soon. I have mostly orchids mounted on my fence. They get good shade, not complete sun, and that's a lot of what I have on my yard and on my fence. is just various types of orchids. And again, you can see it's got good shade from the Christmas palms that they're underneath. I do want to show you a couple of other things here. There's some impatiens that I propagated from cuttings, and I planted this guy yesterday. So this is a vanilla orchid that I planted, one of the few that's terrestrial, that's in the ground, but it's going to grow up this Duranta. The Duranta isn't doing that well. Actually, here's a little flower right here, but usually these things should be covered. And it's not doing well because it's so heavily shaded. As we go through the garden a little bit more, I do want to show you some more of the orchids that I have. Here's another encyclia that I mounted that I showed you in a previous video how to board mount. But the other thing I want to show you here is this is a seed capsule right here from one of my Cattleyas. And you can get an idea, this thing is just huge. And this is going to generate a lot of seeds. And I have a few of these in the yard. There's a Catasetum, another Cattleya. I don't have, again, too many orchids blooming right now, but they're all doing well. I got that blooming. That's it's a stained glass orchid that I made. That's pretty reliable. That's always showy. Oh, I guess I should. Let me go back here. And I did want to show you this guy. So I have milkweed growing in my yard, and the monarchs have found it and they love it. And so what happens is I got a lot of milkweed. There's another plant right here. What happens with these guys, and then there's another, I don't know if you can see it, there's another larvae right underneath there. But what happens is the milkweed, the monarchs find these guys and the plants just become defoliated. These are really easy to grow from seed, and I'll show you how to do that as well. Some more of my Cattleyas right here. Here's another seed capsule. I'm excited to harvest, and again, I'll show you how to do culture of the seeds from the seed capsule. I'll show you that as soon as these are ready. Another encyclia mounted, and then I have my Oncidium Sherry Baby that's got 7 spikes coming out on this. So I just kind of, again, wanted to give you a kind of a quick tour of what's going on in my garden, and I can show you again some of the other orchids that I have a little bit closer, shown right here. You can see the pool in the background. And the pool is pretty nice, and the pool is also pretty new. So most people would think you put a pool in and you're going to decrease your garden space, but the reality of this is that I put my garden in right here on one side of the pool. I put my pergola in, and I've increased my garden space, so I'm pretty happy about that. That's kind of all I wanted to do today, is give you a quick tour, give you an idea of the type of things that I'm growing and the type of things that I'm showing you. So that's it for now. Happy propagating.